Hello, friends. This is a conversation I had with Dave Ewald in April of 2024. Dave was the bass player for Circus Bogus from 1992 to 1996, and later in 2000 when they had a reunion. He also played back in the 80s in Audio Terrorism and Black Art. Recently, he was doing a solo act. What I was thinking about, talking to you about, was your pre-Circus Bogus days, and then when we get up to Circus Bogus, then we'll get in depth about that. But I'm curious about what was it that made you first be interested in wanting to be a musician or play in a band, or what was it?
I was 13 years old and it was 1980, and I was gonna cut my hair crazy and go listen to weird music, and then I heard Maximum RocknRoll, and it was, just it became a ritual, right? Like everyone who listened to Maximum RocknRoll, it was like punk rock church, right? An evangelist, the punk rock evangelist Tim Yohannan comes on the air every Tuesday night.
Every Tuesday
give
night.
You his sermon about people making noises in their garage. It's very loud, and he'll say things that'll make people very upset.
Maximum RocknRoll on Tim.
And now, stay tuned for Tim and the Gang on Maximum RocknRoll.
That was you just knew that it was just like this whole bunch of crap from all over the world that you weren't going to hear anywhere else.
Yep.
And
so
then
that inspired you to be a musician, huh?
Well, I think that was part of the. So then the thing became that you couldn't really get that music anywhere else, right? So you would tape it on a cassette tape, and now you could listen to that over and over, and that was like your music.
Yeah.
We would listen to this cassette tape of Maximum RocknRoll that we recorded.
Uh-huh. What was your first instrument you played as you got inspired by Maximum RocknRoll? What was your first instrument? Was it bass or guitar?
Oh, I tried to play guitar earlier, but I was just really not good at it.
Yeah.
I knew music from elementary school, right? Being an elementary school band, so they teach you how to read and write music. So
what did you play in elementary school?
Oh, the little, clarinet and saxophone.
Clarinet and saxophone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's not so much even the instrument as much as the introduction to the concept that you can have a piece of paper with a bunch of dots and lines on it, and that makes music. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. You're talking about that being foreign from what rock and roll musicians did?
No, I mean,
it was so different.
I mean, it was like teaches you to speak in a different language.
Sure.
Yeah. I think it's part of like working in the development environment, like in Silicon Valley.
Right.
You learn how to process information according to more what it is, what it represents.
Yeah.
And so when you apply that to music, you can look at a staff and see a thing and go, okay, well, that's, a quarter note F, and you know exactly what that is. But it's not something that you would say, it's something you would hear. So it's a sound, but it's that representation. And I think when you start to think of
you had that already.
No, but that's like code, right? So code, this little dots, anything can mean anything.
So
it's all convertible.
What was the first band you got into?
I remember a lot of like screwing around and like
Well, what was your
jamming.
one of your screwing around and jamming with projects? Who was it with, or where was it at?
Well, I do remember out in Clovis.
Clovis.
There was a guy, John, who had a garage,
Yeah.
and they would have parties, and people would just go there and play music.
Right.
And so all the different people that were jamming and playing and would go and hang out and jam and play and try to see if they could start some kind of a band, you know.
So you were there hanging out with those guys, and did you jam
I would try to, for sure.
on the bass?
Well, I got a bass, and I
Whose
started.
bass was it? You bought your own bass and you brought it there to the gig?
You would just bring an instrument.
Your bass, but did
sure.
you bring an amp too? No, they had an amp.
No, they had all kinds of
They
gear
had it.
there.
So you brought your bass.
A lot of times they would
You
have
jam
stuff
with
there
these
too.
Guys, did that lead to a band or anything?
Well, there was. So Larry Hobson.
Larry Hobson. Oh yeah, he was there from the clothing store. What was the name of that place?
The first one was downtown next to your store. It was Electric Roach.
Electric Roach.
And then it was like a little. What was that thing? A little shoe.
Well, it was clothing, shoes and.
No, but what was it
clothing.
originally? Like a cobbler or like a shoe shine stand or something? It was a little tiny like booth kind of thing.
Yeah. Just
That
a
was-
little tiny storefront, and they would shine shoes in there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what it was. But he just stuffed his clothes in there, right? And then
Yeah.
he moved into this
Yeah,
place.
they moved next
in the
door
Tower
to
District.
Club Fred.
Yeah.
Before Club Fred, when it was, what was it called back then? Before Club Fred, the bar.
Olympic Tavern.
Oh yeah, Olympic Tavern. Yeah, man. Now that's a story, but Olympic Tavern. But let's don't divert to that because we're still back to you getting in your first band with Larry Hobson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we got, and you're gonna play bass already.
I played bass, and then Johnny Heathen.
Johnny Heathen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the formation, the audio terrorism, right?
Audio terrorism.
And oh God, what's his name?
Who's the drummer?
It was Ralph Polinelli.
Ralph Polinelli. I remember that guy, big guy.
Yeah, he became a cop.
Yeah. Now, and didn't Larry Hobson do another band too?
Yeah.
Cocktail Waitresses from Hell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we started that one.
Was that with a different guitar player? Were you in that band too?
I was in that band until they kicked me out.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
They kicked you out, those bastards.
Oh, we were all young. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It was all fun and fun times.
Right.
And,
anyway, so audio terrorism, you and Larry and Ralph and Johnny Heathen, you guys made a band.
Yeah, a lot of the memories are real hazy and fun.
So anyway, so then you did audio terrorism.
And we practiced right next door to the Oli.
Oh, in Ralph's clothing store. The Electric Roach.
Larry's.
Larry.
It was called Ground Zero.
Ground Zero, yeah.
Right. So
Now
we
that's-
practiced in Ground Zero, and it was right next to the Oli. And they would get really pissed
Yeah.
because we were very loud.
Yes.
Sometimes louder than the band that's on the stage.
Oh my God.
Trying to perform
my
in the
God.
little tiny bar. And, some folk singer.
Yeah.
And we're next door screaming and playing punk rock. And